what do you get when you cross German precision with British engineering madness? Meet the Opel Speedster Turbo, a featherweight rocket with Lotus DNA and a turbocharged firepower. In today's episode, we will talk about what makes this underrated beast a true driver's car. Spoiler alert, this thing rips. Okay, Opel Speedster, Lotus made 2-liter engine, turbocharged, 200 horsepower. This thing is fast. And it's so much fun to drive. In fact, I never drive it with the top up, so always top down. What really makes this car really cool is the same Lotus concept like Lotus Elisa, except it's slightly longer wheelbase, slightly wider, but its aggressive styling for me with the turbo intake makes really such a more visually thrilling ride as well. Built on the same platform as the Lotus Elisa, the Speedster keeps the lightweight spirit alive, but with a sharper, meaner styling that screams, "Don't mess with me." I get a lot of looks with this car on the road because it looks just so unusual. Many people describe Lotus Elisa as a bug. This car looks more like styling like it would be, say, a supercar like Ferraris or McLarens and etc. because of this unique look and very aggressive sharp lines that you see on the car. Much less curves, but a lot more sharp lines that make this car very unique looking. So we can take a look at the engine here. So it is a 2-liter engine turbocharged. This is the GM or General Motors engine because it was in an era when Opel wanted to make a cool car, a sports car, but did not have the knowledge or know-how. When they teamed up or when they were acquired briefly by General Motors, they then solicited help by Lotus. They contracted them to make the sports car that Opel never had. And this is it. There were two versions of it. There was a 2.2-liter naturally aspirated car version of the Opel Speedster, and there's a 2-liter turbocharged version, which is what we have here. Now this car simply rips, and then it's lightweight. It's only 900 kilograms, and the combination with a turbocharged 2-liter engine, 200 horsepower, this thing really rips. Let's talk numbers. 200 horsepower, 900 kilograms, 0 to 100 in 4.9 seconds. Do the math. That's a supercar level performance in a package fraction of the price. So from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, this thing will do in only 4.9 seconds. It will surprise even the most aggressive supercars you see on the road. So as a tailgate, the moment you downshift and step on it over 5,000 RPMs, it propels like you would not believe. What else? The only two things I don't like about this car is the Opel sign in the back and Opel sign in the front, and the exhaust. This is a stock exhaust and just does not sound really substantial. In other words, when you're driving the car with the top down and you're on the highway, you simply can't actually hear the engine at all. But hey, nothing's ever perfect. The stock exhaust, quiet as a whisper. And the heating, let's just say you're relying on the engine behind you to keep your toes warm. So you can, unless you're looking at the RPMs, on your dashboard, you would not even know what the engine is talking to you at that point in time. So this is something that I plan on changing, and we will do a video with the Larini exhaust that's coming up next week. That'll be a lot more exciting. It's a Breeze, and actually it doesn't have too bad of a storage. Here I always have enough space for a tripod, and this is the space for the soft top, so it doesn't really it's fairly convenient, but if you get into a rain situation or something that requires you to quickly put the top up, it's there. but it's otherwise never on the car, and I never drive it in any condition which would require me to have a top up. There we go. These are the grills for cooling the engine. The engine gets really hot. And in fact, if you're driving at a certain speed and it's cold outside, you will never get the heating to work properly so you can actually be warm inside. The heating is crap, and it does not have air conditioning either. So what I do is I slow it down to 70, 80, 90 kilometers an hour, and then you get a certain Venturi effect that sucks the warm air out of the engine and puts it inside the cabin. It's a very special sort of, it happens at a certain speed, but if you're ever cold inside, you can't rely on the ventilation and the heating inside, but you can rely on the engine. And you know, I used to kid that here on these grills, you can actually fry an egg if you wanted to. That's how hot it gets. It's a really high performing engine that's turbocharged, and if you push it, it will get super hot. It's one of the coolest rides, and it's not expensive as much as a Lotus would be. I used to have the 2.2 liter naturally aspirated version of Speedster before. Great car, better sound, but the turbo, it's a different beast altogether. This one punches way above its weight. And yet you get the same car with possibly slightly higher, you know, quality than Elisa, just because Opel is a German company. So when they got into the contract with the Lotus, knowing the Lotus was not known for their quality and reliability, even though it was known for performance, Opel, I think, micromanaged the situation to the point at which they requested and required a bit more of a consistency and quality than Lotus was delivering at that point in time. So this car was made in the early 2000s, in between the 2000 and 2006. This is what they made. Today, they're pretty rare. You don't actually see too many of these cars, particularly not the turbo version. I did have at some point in time the regular version, the 2.2 liter naturally aspirated engine. That also was a pistol. It was a great car. It is rare. It is raw. And it is everything a true driver's car should be. But you won't see too many of these, and that's exactly one of the points. It had a better exhaust. However, the turbocharged one is definitely is capable of giving some headaches, or challenges even to the supercars that you meet on the road. So there you have it, the Opel Speedster Turbo. Lightweight, loud, a little unhinged, and absolutely unforgettable. Got a car you think can top this? Drop it in the comments. And don't forget, next week we are upgrading the exhaust. Hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next ride.